Okay, we'll make a start now. Now, parents, students, and colleagues, welcome to the Information Day, the admission talk for the Bachelor of Pharmacy program. 咁多位家長早晨，咁好歡迎今日嚟到今日我哋嘅資訊日啦。我哋一陣個admission talk 咧係會用英文去講啦，但係 Q&A 嘅時候好歡迎大家都用廣東話去發問嘅。So will introduce myself first. So I'm Jody Chu, a senior lecturer of the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmacy. I'm also the BPharm program director. So any feedback we usually get for the BPharm programs, usually I'll be the one who will listen to them and handle them as well. So feel free to ask us any questions today. Now with us today, I would like to first introduce our actually head of department, Professor Yin Wong is at the back in our audience. So thanks for coming, Professor Wong, for supporting us. And then, of course, we also have my other colleague here, Ms. Eliza Tam. She's another lecturer of the department. So both Eliza and I are both pharmacists. So I think we hope to share with you what pharmacists could do for our society through today's admission talk. And then we've also invited Donald, who's our year 4 student here. He will also do some sharing with you to show you how fun pharmacy and university life could be. So his session will be at the end, sharing. So again, welcome everyone. Okay, so some very basic background information about our program. I guess you can say that we are still relatively young. We were launched in 2009, but having said that we're young, we already had our 10 years anniversary for our program a few years back, and it is a 4-year program. Now, our intake is 35 students per year. However, we are quite flexible on this number of intake. So for example, this year, we actually had an intake of 45. So I guess it's based on the students, the applications that we get and the offers that we made. So this number is could be quite flexible. And our program is accredited by the Hong Kong Pharmacy and Poisons Board. Now, this means that compared to a student who completed BPharm overseas, when they want to come back to Hong Kong to practice, they do have to sit for exams offered by the Pharmacy Board. However, if they do this pharmacy program in Hong Kong under Hong Kong U, that exam, our students actually don't have to do that one. Now, after graduation, all the students will have to complete 1 year of internship. And 6 months would be at least 6 months would be done in hospital setting. And then the other 6 months could be in a community pharmacy, could be in a pharmaceutical company. And when I say community pharmacy, there's a lot of NGO pharmacies that our students also could go to. So there's a lot of experience our students could gain during the internship. And I suppose that is to help them to make a decision on, which path they may be more interested in to develop it during, for their pharmacy career. I would like to just give an introduction on the core features of our BPharm program. Now, we aim to deliver an integrated learning experience for our students. Now, what does integrated mean? So basically, we would like to combine all the essential components of our pharmacy training core subjects or core values in a logical manner so that when students come and study in our program, they don't just study lots of knowledge, but how they could apply that knowledge to maybe a clinical question later. We hope to achieve that with our program. So what we mean by integrative learning is through a series of body system-based modules. So that means you will get some basic science in year 1, meaning, anatomy, physiology, and some biochemistry and chemistry as well in year 1. From year 2 onwards, you will learn all the therapeutic areas. For example, you will learn about the heart, you learn about a kidney, you will learn about infection. So in various system-based modules. Within that modules, you will also get introduction to all the anatomy, physiology to do with the heart, for example, if it's the cardiovascular system. And also the pharmacology of the drug, meaning how drugs actually work, will also fit in the same module, so that the students could see how basic science can be applied to clinical scenario. So this is, I guess, the whole idea of integrated curriculum. And this is a new integrated curriculum that we've been doing since the 2019 cohort. Now, some of the pharmacy program core themes, which you can also find from our website, include general medical sciences. So I guess all the basic science would fit under this category. Pharmacology, so that's how all the drugs actually work in our body. Pharmacy practice. Now, pharmacy practice comprises of a lot of different areas. But in our training, we focus a lot of the soft skills in pharmacy practice. So meaning when you have a patient approaching you, asking for a product, how do you ask all the appropriate questions so that you could make the best advice for your patient? So part of that is what we call responding to symptoms or responding to a product request. So a lot of soft skills like critical thinking, analytical skills, and communication skills, we also hope to emphasize in our pharmacy practice lectures and workshops. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of career path that pharmacists could take once you graduate with the BPharm program. Industrial pharmacy and pharmaceutical science is another area that we do emphasize in our program. So development of drugs, the regulatory affair of drugs registration, and also pharmaceutical research. And all the tablets that you take, all the suppository, the nasal spray, inhaler, that is all pharmaceutical science. So how do we produce them? And we also utilize a lot of practical sessions or lab session to illustrate the concept of pharmaceutical science as well. Now, clinical pharmacy. Now, clinical pharmacy focuses a lot on mostly, I guess, in a hospital setting. Meaning, how do we optimize patients' choice of drugs to optimize the management of their disease? To give you an example, when you treat someone with high blood pressure, you can have a choice of 20 drugs to treat someone's high blood pressure. But what factors do we need to consider to choose the best drug for that patient that's in front of you? So that is some skills that we, again, hope to build up in our students as they progress through year 1 to year 4. And then, of course, complementary medicine or Chinese medicine, alternative medicine, they play a big role, especially in Asian region like Hong Kong. As pharmacists, we also need to be aware of some of the Chinese medicines that our patients may take in terms of drug interactions and advice that we might need to give them. So our students also get some Chinese medicine training in our program in one of the electives. And I just want to go into a bit more details in terms of some of the core features that we are quite proud of for our Hong Kong U Pharmacy program. Now, Pharmacy Experiential Education Program has been formally introduced to our curriculum from this academic year. So I'll talk more about that in the next slide. And also interprofessional learning, as the name suggests, our students actually get to work with other healthcare professional students during their undergraduate studies. So you actually get to work with MBBS students, nursing students, Chinese medicine students during your BPharm program. Now, this is quite a new concept, I think, for medical education, because usually you will work with other healthcare professionals once you start working. But we've pushed that a lot earlier so that you can work together much earlier in your undergraduate study. Now, for those of you who may have had a look at our website and know about our program, PBL, so problem-based learning, is a big feature for our program as well. So these are the three areas that I would talk a bit more on now. So for our pharmacy experiential education program, it's been incorporated into our curriculum from year 1 all the way to year 4. Now, in year 1, what it used to be is a lot of basic science, foundational science that students often found that they don't know much about pharmacy in year 1. And I remember, that was the case for me back then when I did my pharmacy degree. So, but we think that for students to feel motivated to study pharmacy or to become pharmacists, they need to have exposure to the pharmacy profession a lot earlier. So in year 1, we now have a professional development program to do a lot of early exposure to alumni sharing. So we invite alumni from different sectors who are now working in different pharmacy sectors to share the experience with our year 1 students. And also we have a lot of different activities, workshop to expose them to what pharmacy is all about. So we just aim to push that exposure a lot earlier to year 1, so they feel a lot more motivated. And in year 2 and year 3, we actually place our students in community pharmacy sites. Now, for our Hong Kong U Pharmacy program, we actually have our own pharmacy, Hong Kong U exclusive training site. They are community pharmacy that we could place our students into to do their placement. Now, 1 day a week of their, I know that they have a really busy timetable, but we managed to free up 1 day a week so that our students can experience the workplace a lot earlier from year 2. Now, I think knowledge is important, but having that real life experience and learning from the workplace is even more, is equally important in our eyes. So in year 2 and year 3, they get the exposure in community pharmacy and also hospital pharmacy setting as well. And this is on top of the usual ward visit that we do take our students to Queen Mary Hospital for. So this is on top of that. And then in year 4, they would do their clerkship. So in clerkship, they would spend 2 weeks in each site. So they would rotate through hospital, community, and industrial company to get the exposure prior to graduation. So clerkship, which is what we always have. And enrichment program is something, again, new. We are offering to our year 4 students in semester 2. So enrichment program, as the name suggests, we hope to enrich our students' learning experience by, again, exposing them to a lot of different community service. Now, this could be pharmacy or non-pharmacy related. So it could be based on, it could be research-based, it could be a community project that the student work on, it could be an NGO of their choice that they would like to go and work in for the semester. So by offering PEEP, we hope to enrich our students' study, not just enriching their knowledge by the books, but also enriching their life experience and their work experience, and to get them ready to become pharmacists. Now, interprofessional learning, our students actually get interprofessional learning from year 2. So from year 2 all the way to year 4, you'll have different activities. And I've listed some of the example of the cases our students actually get to work with the other healthcare professional students. So they may work on, for example, a module on depression. How do different healthcare professionals work together to help patients with depression? For example, that is an example to show you, or cancer, or dementia. So these are some of the modules we have developed as a team across the faculty so that you can all work together. And by the time you get to year 4, you even work with students who are non-healthcare professional based. So you can even work with social workers, lawyers, and engineering students as well. So this is something that our faculty is very proud of because it's a lot of effort. Each year, we train across all the Hong Kong U and also other universities that we work with, over 1,600 students with interprofessional learning. And we often get pretty good feedback in terms of how they can work together to solve a case, so that they can see the importance of collaboration when they become pharmacists. Now, PBL. I personally really like PBL myself because all of the teachers in our department are tutors. Students are the one who have to take the lead of the discussion. Now, I like it because first, I can see how students develop as they progress through year 2, 3, and 4. And they are always on specific therapeutic topics that they first get lecture on. So they will have the knowledge of that particular topic. And then they will go to that PBL session prepared on the topic. Now, they are all small group discussions. So we have about anything from 6 to 8 students per group. So they're a very small class. And each tutorial will be also facilitated by a tutor. So usually it will be one of the pharmacist tutor of the department. And what we focus on achieving in PBL are listed in the sort of the yellow boxes there. We hope the student can participate. It doesn't matter if the discussion is going to the wrong direction. It's okay, because that's what we want to encourage. We want to encourage discussion. We will always go through the learning objectives with the students during the session and also at the end, so that they know what they've done well, what they could have improved on. And then communication skills, because all the team members have to work on the same case together and communicate their ideas. And obviously, I said preparation already, so they need to prepare for the topics that they come for the case. Critical thinking. So in medicine, we always say that a lot of things are not black and white. So if you have the knowledge that you need, but how do you make that decision for your patient? So it involves a lot of critical thinking skills. And then, of course, group skills. So again, working with your colleagues to help this patient or to solve the case together. And our students usually quite enjoy PBL. So I'll let Donald share more about PBL later. And another feature that I do want to briefly mention is the articulation to our Hong Kong U MBBS program. Again, it's also on our website. You are able to complete 2 professional degrees in 8 years. So you first do your BPharm program, and at the end of year 3, semester 1, based on that GPA, some students will be eligible to do this articulation. And what it means is you will be able to exempt from year 1 of MBBS and also year 3 of the MBBS. Year 3 of the MBBS is the enrichment year. But for pharmacy students, if you do the articulation, you don't have to do the enrichment year. So I guess in total, 8 years, you will complete 2 degrees in total. So if you have a more question, you can ask us later about this. And now I would like to show you a video about our program.
醫者仁心，要拯救喺危疾當中嘅病人，行醫者都要對症下藥，先可以藥到病除。而往往我哋好容易忽略咗藥劑師呢一環。藥劑師嘅角色喺過去10年都不斷演變，小至做支酒精搓手液，大至研發新藥物對抗人類未見過嘅新疾病，每一環都需要藥劑師嘅專業知識。加上醫療需求日益增長，可以話藥劑師嘅重要性只見得越嚟越大。香港大學李嘉誠醫學院藥劑學學士係一個裝備你成為一位出色藥劑師嘅專業學位，當中有3個香港大學藥理及藥劑學系獨有嘅特點。整合課程，香港大學藥理及藥劑學系係全港首個兼唯一一個採納課程整合安排嘅課程。自2019至2020年度起，我哋學系根據歐美頂尖學府藥劑學院嘅做法，重新設計課程，令內容更加貼近現時嘅社會醫療需求。整合課程包括橫向綜合化學、製藥學同藥理學多個學科， 同時縱向綜合基礎同埋臨床科學嘅教學內容，令整體課程更加貫徹，學生更加能夠融會貫通。學生亦都可以透過多種媒介學習，包括臨床體驗、社區體驗、實驗室體驗、網上學習等等。雙專業學位課程銜接安排，由2019至2020年度起，香港大學藥劑學學士課程會提供同香港大學內外全科醫學士嘅銜接安排。學生喺完成藥劑學學士課程3年級上學期課程之後，成績優異嘅同學可以喺4年級修讀1個學期內外全科醫學士課程。呢啲完成藥劑學學士課程而能夠符合港大醫科入學條件嘅學生，可以直接入讀港大醫科2年級，並免收3年級增潤學年。學生可於8年內獲取香港大學藥劑學學士同埋內外全科醫學士2個專業學位。對於一啲有志從事醫療專業嘅學生特別適合。藥物研究，藥劑師係藥物專家，喺藥物研究嘅團隊裏面擔當重要角色。完成學士課程之後，藥劑學學士除咗投身醫療界之外，更加可以選擇深造研究、碩士、博士或者醫學課程。香港大學藥理及藥劑學系擁有全港藥劑學界最龐大嘅研究經費同埋最多元化嘅研究項目，配合先進而且齊全嘅研究設備、充裕資源同埋配套，以及由藥劑師同埋藥理學教授帶領之下，學系致力培育藥劑學生成為傑出嘅研究人才同埋精英，進行高端醫學同埋藥劑研究。3個獨有修讀藥劑學嘅理由，只有喺香港大學藥理及藥劑學系揾到。想成為專業藥劑師嘅你，亦或想喺藥劑學界有所成就嘅你，立即踏出你嘅第一步，加入我哋。入學申請詳情，請瀏覽學系網頁。
Okay, thanks for your attention of the video that we produced. I think by now, I hope I have introduced the importance of pharmacists in the healthcare system. And as pharmacists, we are expert in medication. So this is what we always tell our students. That's our expertise. And as pharmacists, you can also contribute to a lot of various areas of the community in healthcare, including hospitals, so both public and private hospital setting, community pharmacy, clinics, pharmaceutical companies, Department of Health, and the drug office as well. So all of our graduates are now working in various areas that we've mentioned on this slide and beyond this slide. So some of them actually have gone into research, into PhD and other area of research. And again, just to give you an idea of where they could work, obviously what we're doing now, so I'm in the academic area, which also includes research area. So the opportunity is endless, or the it's really up to where you would like to head to once you graduate. There's a lot of opportunities for our pharmacy graduates. So now I would like to pass the time to my colleague, Ms. Eliza Tam, to talk about some of the details about the actual admission, which might be you quite interested in. Thank you, Eliza.
Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm sure that you're all excited to join us now. So I'll quickly go through what our admission requirements are. And if you have any question at the end, feel free to ask. We'll have a Q&A session at the end. Also, we'll have some consultation section in the doors right next there in SL2 and SL3 from midday. So there will be students there and teachers there to answer any questions that you have. Okay, so this is our BPharm program admission requirement, which will be on the website as well. So English, Chinese, Maths and Liberal Study would be the core subjects that you will need to obtain a sufficient level to come into us. We also require our students to have a chemistry component in their studies. Now, as you have seen from our videos and the introduction before, chemistry plays a very important role in understanding how drugs work, and also in future research. So we really want our students to have a chemistry component before they join us. So this is one of the requirement or prerequisite that we have for our BPharm program. We will still adopt this scoring formula. So I'm sure parents and students in the podium will know this better than myself. So we have a additional score, so what we call a Hong Kong U score for our BPharm program. So we will count any best 6 subjects that's among your category A subjects. And also, if you have additional M1 or M2 studies on top of your core math studies, we will count that as one elective as well. So we have a table there showing you the DSE score and the Hong Kong U score that we will calculate on. So the objectives for this is we really want to appreciate students putting in their efforts in outstanding scores. So if you will get 5 or about 5, 5-star, 5 double stars, it will translate into a higher score in our program. Last year, our admission score is at 36. I'm sure that we will also allow some flexibility for students who will perform well in the MMI. So I'll talk about the interview that we will have in our BPharm program, because we don't only want a student who is a high achievers, we want them to be able to communicate and able to work with patients as well. So MMI, or the interview that we will have in this program, also play a very important role in our mission as well. Some admission updates. So it's probably not a very updated update, because we actually adopted this last year as well. And the M1, M2 is recognized from few years already. So I mentioned before, M1, M2 as a elective, will count that as a core subject, because I know that M1, M2 is a very difficult course to take. Okay, and also in this senior secondary elective subject in category A, so you must achieve level 3 or higher. Second senior secondary elective subjects in Cat A, module 1, 2 of the extended maths part, and other language subject in category C must achieve those scores as well. So I mentioned about the results for the extended M1, M2. It's recognized as an equivalent subject that will fulfill that the full elective in fulfilling the university entry requirement. So basically that it's counted as a subject as an elective in our program. So update 2 is the flexible arrangement on DRUPAS. So we actually took this initiative last year already. So we recognize the difficulties and the challenges during COVID times, and we hope to extend some flexibility to our future students. So if you even got a bit less in your Chinese language and English subject or one elective subject, that's okay. We will still consider you as a candidate, but your overall score will be deducted by 10%. If your deducted score still meet our entry requirement and you put our program in category A or band A, we will still consider you as a potential candidate. Okay, and we will invite you for interviews. Of course, you will need to fulfill our basic entry requirements. So last year, the DSE score was 36 and also passed the program interview as well. So as long as you meet those requirements and after deduction, you still meet our score, we will still consider you as a potential candidate. So you might wonder if there are students who get the same score, what other features do we look for in a student? So we will look at other sources of information for references, for example, the interview performance, also the level of your 7th and 8th category A subjects, your Category C subject scores, and if you have any school principal nomination, and also other achievement that you have during your academic studies in your secondary school. So a lot of the times we look for students who does volunteer work. So if they are very passionate in healthcare studies already, we would really want to get these students to help us in our healthcare system in the future. If they have other scholars and other achievements, we will consider as well. This year, we will still offer the Hong Kong UDSC top 1% scholarship. So I'm sure that you know this from last year already. So there are scholarship available if you achieve in the top 1%. Just some dates for your information. So we will have 2 rounds of interview dates. So if you put us into your Band A option, and if you meet the earlier requirement, we will invite you for an interview in June. Of course, after you get your score, you might have second choice, or you might second thoughts about putting pharmacy in your Band A choice. We will host another interview in July as well. Okay, so we will have 2 rounds of interview, but you must put us as a Band A choice for us to call you for interview. So make sure you remember this. So Band A, if you put us in Band B, we won't invite you for interviews. So the interview that will be conducted, it's called the multi-mini interviews. From now, I'll call it MMI. So this year, we'll still take it as a Zoom online format. And we will have 3 different stations involving 3 different questions. So the question will be on ethics, in medical science, and in current events as well. So those questions, the reason why we wanted to have an MMI interview, it's we wanted to have some ideas about the students' analytical skills. Okay, and how do they make judgment as well? So, and we think that this is very important in any healthcare career or profession, is to have that clinical judgment and also analytical skill of an issue. So I've got a sample question here. We actually asked this question in Cantonese. So in the 3 questions that I mentioned, 2 will be conducted in English and 1 will be conducted in Cantonese. 咁我讀一次啦個問題，咁我哋就會問如果撲殺誤闖市區嘅野生動物嘅做法，係咪可以有效預防野生動物傷人事件？ So our event or social event question are very related to what you have seen in the newspaper. This question we actually asked earlier this year. So about, I think, April or June time, we asked this question to our potential candidates, and some of them got into us already. So I don't know how the audience would answer this question, but after we're showing you this question in the interview, you actually have 2 minutes to prepare your answers. So you can say you agree with this question, you disagree with this question. And then you have 4 minutes to have an interview with our teachers to explain your choice. Okay, so to answer this question, you not only need to say yes or no, or you agree, disagree, you have to give us your justification as well. So it's through this justification, we will see how you process a question and how you analyze the situation as well. And also it will be a good idea if you can give us a solution as well. So if you don't agree this is the correct way, what do you think would be a way that works to answer this question? So some of the interview tips. So if we invite you for an interview, because it's a Zoom interview, so we hope our candidates will be punctual or even early for interview, because there are some administration staff that we will need to go through with you before the interview. First impression always counts. So we've had candidates who looks like they just woke up because it's a Zoom interview. So make sure you don't do that. So treat it as a proper interview that you will go in, in person for. Be prepared to join the Zoom room with another device, because there might be some technical failure with your main device. So make sure you have another device with you. Now, don't be shy. You can always ask us the question if you need. So just ask us politely to repeat the question if you're not sure what we are asking, or if there's some technical issue that you can't hear us properly. Okay. In the 2 minutes that you have, you will be very busy because you need to come up with an answer and how to answer it as unanswered as well. And also, I'm sure you'll be very nervous too. So make sure you calm yourself, structure your answer well. So we would like to know your views on the topics and the pros and cons of having your views, and also to suggest an alternative solutions or views. So with the question that I gave you earlier, maybe you can go home and practice and see if you can come up with your own views. And also solutions that you might have for us. I just wanted to say, in addition, there's no right or wrong answers for MMI questions, because we really wanted to see the candidate's analytical skill and if it can be backed up by their own judgment or an answer. So don't worry, if you're comparing with your friends or other students in the interview that you've got opposite views, it's totally okay. And this is what happened in healthcare professionals. We always question others and challenge others to get new views on new treatments, for example. So here are our contacts. So we are quite active on social media. So if you would like to know more about our program, what we do in research and in teaching, feel free to join us in one of those channels. If there's any question, feel free to email us as well, or you can DM us or message us on the social media. So next, I'll invite Donald to come up to share with us some of his experience during his 4-year here with us in the BPharm program. Thank you, Donald.
So thank you, Ms. Tam. So I'm going to share about some of my views during this 4-year journal. Yep. So during the study, you get to learn many different topics. So you can either become a clinical pharmacist, you can either become a community pharmacist, and you can also engage in some industry or wholesale dealers. So the curriculum is covered like all 3 these categories, and also some research as well. But I didn't include here because I just quickly make the PowerPoint. And then for learning activities, as Ms. G said, there are many different learning activities. So PVL, problem-based learning, you really get a case to apply your knowledge. So for example, you may have a patient like approaching you about gastric disease like fossil sum, and then after your patient approach you, so how will you handle this patient in a group setting? So yep. And another thing is the ward visit. So because COVID situation, I didn't really have a chance to go to Queen Mary Hospital to get a really real patient case. So but I know that since COVID situation is going well, so everyone is going to have a chance to go to Queen Mary Hospital and get a real patient case, and then you can deal with the patient based on your clinical knowledge. And some practical, so you can really have a chance to during the secondary school chemistry, you really have some laboratory practical sections, so which is interesting. And then as Ms. Ju said, there are some interprofessional learning, and during my journal, I have at least three projects. So health research project, patient care project, and interprofessional education and collaborative practice. So you get to see many different healthcare professionals. So nursing, doctors, so how will you communicate with them and how they can help manage your situation, help manage the patient case as well. So in the third one, the interprofessional education one, sometimes you get to know some non-medical professionals, so lawyers and social workers. So which is quite interesting because for example, during a case for COVID, will you disclose the patient information for public health? And this involves the field of lawyer. So that's why sometimes you get to have lawyer as in the team for this project. So for my practical experience, theories are theories. Many times we need to apply your knowledge as well. So in the year 4 clerkship, I went to Princess Margaret Hospital, Dongla Hospital and Marching Pharmaceutics Limited. So a manufacturer a local manufacturer in Hong Kong. And in the coming month, I will go to Watson's for the clerkship experience, which you really like understand the real practice of the pharmacist during these kind of settings. Knowledge is really knowledge to me. So I really enjoy go to these kind of hospital and get the real life experience in these kind of settings. So summer placement. So aside from the clerkships, you get a chance to go to other placement, other community pharmacies or other settings to know more details about being pharmacists in this setting. So this is exactly me in HIA Health in Action Community Pharmacy, and I was having a talk, and then a patient come here to talk to me about macular degeneration, so 黃斑病變, and then yeah, which is quite a good experience because in Health in Action you just talk to patients, you get a chance to have some medication management service, which is exclusive, which is new to this community pharmacy as well, because you really get a patient case and then you look at their drugs and then ask them about what their problem is and what we as a pharmacist, how can we help them. So another pharmacy, a lively community pharmacy, and these two pharmacies is having collaboration with HKU. So you can visit them as well. This is in Kwai Heng, and then that one, A Lively, is in Hong Kong, and feel free to go there as well. And then for DSH, which is wholesale dealers, and you get a chance to like manage some dangerous drugs, which is some abusive substance as well. And then sorry for the. Yeah, sorry for blurring the words. Some experience that I don't have or that may have some the semester-based experiential learning. So you get the chance to go to other placement sites, so community pharmacy like Watson, Mannings. You can even go to hospital if I know. So you really get a chance to, during semester, get the details of the pharmacy, what exactly the pharmacist is doing. So enrichment module, which I will go next year, and I plan to go to a ACE concern, which is about 愛滋病病人. So you get, as a pharmacist, how can we help them? So yeah. And then exchange, and since COVID, I haven't been to other countries. So exchange, which is very, very good for you guys, and feel free to join exchange. So yeah, my U-Life is not really exactly like that boring and about learning and go to other placement sites. So I did join other events as well. So all day, all camp, white coat ceremony, which I think is a good way to like打卡and yeah, and then so see if you can find me here. Yeah. And then this is me as a freshman, and in year 4, which is I being a 老鬼 here, and you can see me here. You can see me at the corner there. I have some 做仔女 here. So exactly, I engage with other junior students, and then yeah, it's quite fun to have them because some of them are quite interesting. Yeah. So aside from my U-Life, I did hiking, rowing, and some gathering as well. I forgot who got birthday there. So life is not really boring. Enjoy studying pharmacy. So feel free to join pharmacy here. So I guess yeah. So this is the end of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Donald. Donald always help us with a lot of different activities. So thanks, Donald. Now is the Q&A session. So If you do want to raise any questions, you could, and we've got helpers who can pass you a microphone. But also to remind you, we also have consultation session too. Yes.
Hi, I was just wondering about the admission requirements for non-JUPAS, like for example, the grades, especially for GCE A-level, and also are there any requirements in whether I should put pharmacy as, first choice, second choice, third choice in my program choices? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the exact requirement for non-JUPAS, I think it will be better if you come and see us because for different non-JUPAS program, we have different requirements. But you must put us in your first choice of JUPAS for non-JUPAS application because we have another round for non-JUPAS interview. I think the first round is in December. So if you do put us in your first choices, then we'll invite you for interview then. Yeah, but because non-JUPAS covers a lot of different programs, so come to see us and we'll let you know. 大家有冇咩問題咧？可以問喺前邊。
咁我哋係 non-JUPAS IB 嘅，咁我想問，如果我真係擺咗喺第2個 choice 啦，咁係咪即係一定冇機會 interview 㗎？就算我係所有條件都 satisfy 嘅？
都會有機會嘅，因為其實咧non-JU 我哋係有2 round interview 嘅都，咁第一 round 就係12月啦。其實嗰個好處就係我哋會俾一個 conditional offer 你哋，係啦。咁即係如果你哋 meet 到一個 certain requirement，而你哋亦都 confirm 咗你哋會嚟咧，其實你係好早 secure 咗一個位咯，不如咁樣講，係啦。咁樣就嗰個處理個方法就會好啲嘅，係啦。
我想問一問咧，如果我完咗一個4年嘅課程啦，咁咪有個 internship 先可以 accreditation 啦。咁喺呢度咧，唔知 Hong Kong 有咩 support 係咪 guarantee 可以一定有個 internship， 定係一定要靠佢哋自己揾嘅咧？
好啊，其實4年之後嗰1年嘅 internship 咧，我哋都會幫學生去揾足夠嘅位嘅。咁當然啦，學生自己都有自己 preference 嘅，即係可能有啲係好想去醫院做，有啲可能好想去社區藥房做，咁所以咧，我哋個做法就係我哋會有足夠嘅位去提供俾學生，咁但係去 interview 啊，去 apply 就要靠個學生自己咯，因為我哋都覺得其實都出嚟做嘢啦，其實呢啲佢哋應該自己都要 take initiative 咯，係啦，咁但係我哋個 program 2009年開始啦，每一年都有足夠嘅位俾我哋學生嘅，係啦。
我想問下咧，JUPAS 同 non-JUPAS 咧嗰個收生嘅比例大概係幾多？
好啊，係啦，咁JUPAS 我哋大約收生就70% 啦，non-JUPAS 就30% 嘅，係啦。咁如果你計翻我哋個 cohort 大概35-40個學生，咁個比例就40、43、12、12位non-JUPAS 左右咯。